Okay, so cerebral palsy is a non-hereditary disorder. It's the most common motor disability among children. This disability causes involuntary movements, abnormal reflexes, and floppiness. Someone who has been working very closely with cerebral palsy is emerging fashion icon Anna Sweet. This past May, she worked with 15 students from Parsons University and the Fashion Institute of Technology to create clothing that, quote, makes them feel sexy while also being functional. During the third annual fashion show, these students were able to create fashion line and model these clothes during the fashion show, which succeeded everyone's expectations. If we look at chart, we turn to page 2, figure 2. It shows some of the effects that cerebral palsy has with walking. So 58% of children walk independently, with cerebral palsy walk independently. 31% need help or assistance walking, and 11% use handheld mobile devices to walk. Cerebral palsy is a big, I'll describe it, a big factor, or it impacts children greatly. And I want to pass it on to Rachel, who's going.
Muscular dystrophy, thank you. So our second focus is muscular dystrophy. This is a disability that it's muscle degenerate, so you start to lose your ability to use your muscles. And for the beginning focus, we're kind of focusing on Duchenne and Becker, which are both the most common form of muscular dystrophy. It mainly affects young boys. And if you look on page 3, figure 3, individuals with Duchenne and Becker are wheelchair bound, about 90% of them, by age 15. Prior to this, though, they do require to use braces to help their legs and help them still walk, and it just helps keep their muscles a little more keep their muscles stretch and help them not degenerate as fast. One of the people we kind of looked into was Mindy Shire. She is the founder of Runway of Dreams, and she got her inspiration because her son Oliver was diagnosed with a rare form of muscular dystrophy, and he came home from school one day and he wanted to wear jeans like his friends, but due to his braces, this would have greatly impacted his mobility and ability to do independent tasks as easy as using the bathroom by himself. And her whole goal, and our goal as a whole company, is that just because someone has a disability doesn't mean they shouldn't care about how they look, and they should be able to wear what they want. So we're really trying to create an adaptive clothing to start with people with cerebral palsy and muscular dystrophy, to create clothing that allows them to be mobile, but also allows them to express themselves, specifically adolescents, because there's not a big market for that currently. And now Kaylee's going to talk about our market.
So first off, we looked at the adaptive apparel market itself. If you look at figure 1 on the second page, it shows the size of the adaptive apparel market in the US. The market is currently worth $44.5 billion this year, and is expected to grow to $51.09 billion by 2022. After we saw that the market was growing, we also looked at different articles online to see what was happening in the market. One article specifically that I want to mention is USA Today. They talked about how the adaptive apparel market has been underrepresented in main retailers, and there hasn't been much fashion or style or individuality, and a lot of retailers such as Target, Tommy Hilfiger, and Zappos have just recently started launching lines for a wide range of disabilities that have more fashion and individuality. Next, we looked at target demographics, so we focused on adolescents aged 12 to 24. So I know that Rachel and Maverick mentioned figure 2 and figure 3. I just want to touch back on that. Figure 2 was about children with cerebral palsy, and figure 3 was with children with muscular dystrophy. We focused again, specifically touching back on what Rachel said, on these two disabilities, because we wanted to focus the line on mainly children that need a wheelchair or braces or assistance. We felt that brands like Target, they offer a wide range of meeting different needs for different disabilities, but if we hone down on a specific kind of set of needs, then we'd be able to offer more product and more style to those specific adolescents. Lastly, I want to mention our target market. So we wanted to go after the moms and dads and caretakers of these adolescents. The CDC said that 16.8 million, there are 16.8 million caretakers in the U.S. Taking care of someone age 18 and under, and that 55% of these caretakers are parents taking care of their own child. Again, just on the target market, we looked at Mindy Shire, who did a TED Talk, and she talked about how it was really, she wanted to give her son individuality and help him get dressed. If he can't control anything about his body, you know, something's happening that he can't control, at least he can control how he expresses himself in his sense of style. Now I'm going to pass it off to William, who's going to talk about our inequalities.
Can you tell me, I missed this, how many people are there in the United States with these, in your target market with this condition? Like how many people?
Are you talking about from the beginning? What I said?
You're talking about 12 to 8, I think you said, somewhere I've written down 12 to 18-year-olds, and then you said it's cerebral palsy and muscular dystrophy. How many are there in that age range of your target market?
That's not a figure we have right now.
Okay, so
Sorry.
I didn't
We'll conduct more research and get back to you.
I'm just trying to figure out how big is this market?
Yeah.
The age
Yeah, no,
ranges
we
are
have-
12 to 24.
Yeah. And that was because there's multiple, for example, with muscular dystrophy, there's multiple types of muscular dystrophy, and not only physical development, but like also mentally. There's
All I want to know is
Oh,
The
sorry,
physical.
sorry.
500,000
We don't have that. We have the market
potential
size, but
market,
that's something
200
that
million market.
We'll find that for
I
you.
thought I missed
the
it.
CDC had information on both of the disabilities, but we're still trying to find some. It's very niche,
Specific.
so
Yeah,
we're still
it's
trying
okay.
to figure it
Roll.
out.
Keep going.
Okay, thank you.
To set ourselves apart from competitors, we look to focus on two main aspects of our adaptive apparel line. The first being a water, stain, and odor-proof activation that occurs during the fabric stage prior to sewing the clothing together. And we chose to go with the company Philium Activated Technology due to their effectiveness and how they use the activation. It doesn't compromise the integrity and comfort of the fabric, so like the cotton would still feel loose and not stiff like many other waterproof and stain resistant options. And this is important as we look to provide comfortable, easy to clean, fashionable clothing for those with muscular dystrophy and cerebral palsy. And the second area where we look to diversify ourselves from competitors is offering more options for adolescents. So currently Target and Tommy Hilfiger recently launched adaptive apparel lines, and Target's is
Cat and Jack. Cat and Jack line.
which focuses more on younger kids, and Tommy Hilfiger has created garments for younger kids and then adults. But a trend that we found among these competitors and others is that they don't hit that 12 to 24 adolescent age range, and we look to put ourselves into that market and provide fashionable and functional clothing for those people with muscular dystrophy and cerebral palsy. And now I'll hand it off to Donovan to look a little more into the competitors.
Yeah, so two of the direct competitors that we identified are Tommy Hilfiger, as you previously mentioned, and Zappos. Tommy Hilfiger just introduced a 22-piece line of clothing, and their main focus is on children and then adults, not really any in between. They use Velcro and magnets to replace buttons and zippers to make it easier for these adolescent children who are affected by these disabilities, to make it easier for them to get dressed on their own and easier for their caretakers if they can't get dressed on their own. And then Zappos is a large online department store that has a adaptive apparel section on their website, but it's mainly sweatpants. And if you look on illustration 2, there's actually examples of Zappos. Illustration 1 is also Tommy Hilfiger's examples. And Zappos has name brand clothes, sweatpants like Nike and Columbia that aren't specifically made for adaptive wear but serve the same function with the elastic waistband. We just want to make it more functional and better designed that are more identified for these children's unique needs. I'll now pass it on to Austin, who will continue talking about competitors.
So our final two competitors, we classified them as indirect, and the reasoning behind that was they sell a similar product, but the age range will vary between the two competitors. And our first competitor is Special Kids. They're an online website that provides adaptive clothing to children ages 2 through 14. Their clothing has features such as feeding tube access, waterproof bibs, and even swimsuits that are designed specifically for adolescents with these disabilities. The biggest issue that we found with the clothing they offer, if you look in illustration 3, you'll see that those are the different kind of styles they had just listed on their website. The functionality's there, but they're severely lacking, in our opinion, in the fashion department. They don't really have a lot to offer in terms of what's popular in the current fashion world. And that's something that we want to bring to the table, is that functionality with better fashion. Moving on to our final competitor is Silvert. Now, they are a company that's directed towards accessibility clothing for the elderly, which is the complete opposite of the spectrum from us. However, we chose them based on the fact that they put a big emphasis on elderly with mobility issues that require a wheelchair or braces or crutches. And seeing how cerebral palsy and muscular dystrophy is our target demographic, people who suffer from those disorders, that falls right in line with us. They offer everything from shoes to pants to shirts, and even have ponchos and outerwear that are designed for people in wheelchairs to help them to stay dry if they're outside. And again, the issue that we had with them was the functionality's there, but they don't seem to have put a lot of effort in the style. The patterns they do have are pretty basic, and as far as those patterns go, there isn't a lot of variety, even though that Sylvant offers clothes for men and women. The patterns are pretty same across the board. And now, Donovan's going to go ahead and wrap up what we presented to you today.
Yeah, so our next step that we're going to take is we've sent emails and have been in contact with parents, caretakers, and teachers that take care of these children. And we're going to compile what they give back to us and try to implement into our current clothing line that we're developing to make it easier for them, because they have the first-hand experience into what the children need and what could make their lives easier. We will now open the floor up to any questions you guys may have.
And we'll